Welcome back to my Ask Shannon video series. Today's topic, married sex. Okay, this is a fun topic for many reasons, but mostly for me because married sex can be funny, it can be sweet, it can be embarrassing, and it can be pretty hot. So anyway, the first question this week comes from Larry. Actually, it's the only question. Larry writes this. I just stumbled across your Marriage Mojo columns and I'm so grateful I did. I was about to do something foolish in my 23-year marriage. And your articles made me realize I've been taking the issues in our sex life too seriously. You made me laugh and you made me remember why I fell in love with my wife in the first place. So here's my question. How do you get through the periods in your marriage where the sex sucks? Okay, I love this question. And it's wonderful that these questions can come in somewhat anonymously because then we can be really honest. And I think honesty and mutual self-disclosure can really help people. The first thing I have to say is, Larry, you should be incredibly grateful to my husband because he is the one who allows me to write about our sex lives. He's very generous that way. So look, it's not news, and we've all read enough to know that the initial flush of lust when we first meet our partner will dissipate over time, and all of those endorphins that we initially experienced will begin to abate. I have not personally interviewed them, although I am available should they call, but I suspect that Brad and Angie probably have some sex issues themselves, despite their hotness, because they're very busy and they've got 6 children that are constantly knocking down their door and wanting their attention. So I think the very first and most important step in keeping a marriage vital and keeping a married sex life happy and moving forward is to accept the fact that when you're in a long-term marriage, there will be times when you're not going to want one another. And that married sex is very much like a garden. It requires watering, weeding, pruning, and sometimes even fertilizer. In other words, married sex takes work. And it's a mistake to think that it shouldn't be work. In fact, that is a happily ever after fairy tale. And here's the thing, you can let your married sex life slide for a little while, but don't let it slide for too long because it might just slide into the arms of a third party. So here is my hit list of married sex maintenance, okay? So here is my hit list of marriage maintenance tasks. So there was a period of time where my husband Henry had put on a little bit of weight. And the fact is that I just didn't find that attractive. And I could have let it slide and just embraced it, but I realized it was putting a damper on our sex lives. And so I felt that it was important for me to be honest with him and to let him know what was going on. And did he enjoy hearing that information? No, he didn't. But I wasn't telling him these things to hurt his feelings or to shame him. And I think that he recognized I was being honest and forthcoming because our married sex life was really important to me and I did not want it to just slip away. And so he really surprised me by making a decision that he was going to eat healthier and he was going to get to the gym, and he really made an effort. And what's funny is, you know, since that time, both of us have had weight gains and weight losses. Both of us have had times where, you know, we kind of physically let ourselves go. But we always touch base with each other and we always let each other know if we feel that there's a lack of attraction that's getting in the way. And we both have goodwill toward one another and make efforts to revivify ourselves in order to continue having a mostly vital sex life. And we get in ruts like everyone else, but it's important and we work at it. Oftentimes, our spouse is the person that we see the least throughout our day, especially during the working week. Oftentimes, we spend more time and more intimate time with coworkers than we do with our spouses. And the fact is that offices are the #1 location where romantic relationships begin. So if you find yourself spending more time with a person that you find very sexually attractive, and you're spending more time with that person than your spouse, be aware and create appropriate boundaries and distance. And don't lie to yourself. Oftentimes, we will lie to ourselves about interactions outside of the home because we enjoy the flush of being flirtatious with someone. It makes us feel vital, pretty, handsome, alive, viable. But the fact is that if you're spending too much time feeling attracted to or flirting with or confiding in a coworker, that is going to really be damaging to your marriage. And if this extracurricular friendship or relationship starts to become a threat to your marriage and you genuinely do not want your marriage to end, you have to tell your spouse. And while I'm sure it will be painful, once again, if it's coming from a place of wanting the marriage to come first and protecting the marriage, then it's going to actually help you become closer to your spouse. So physical connection does not have to be sexual. If you're in a place where you just are not in a sexual frame of mind, don't stop touching your spouse. Take a moment before he or she leaves the house to really embrace that person. Hold them close. Really, feel their muscles under their t-shirt or the softness of their shoulders, or just take in the scent of this familiar, beloved person. At night, get into bed and just hold each other, spoon, hold hands, touch each other. In fact, I was looking up how important this is, and there's an article by married doctors Charles and Elizabeth Schmitz, and they wrote this for yourtango.com, and I loved it. It confirmed what I suspected. We've reported many firsthand accounts from successfully married couples who tell us how important the human touch is to a loving marriage. They hug each other often, they kiss, they touch each other while talking, they sit cheek to cheek, that is cute, on the couch while having a conversation, they curl around each other when they sleep or just gaze at the stars. And yes, they have sex from time to time when it's right for them. You see, people touch each other in many, many different ways, and no single form of touching wins the day. It's what we like to call the accumulation of touching. I love that. I'm going to write that right now. The accumulation of touching. Lovely. Touch the one you loved often and in whatever way your heart desires. It's that human connection that wins the day and wins the marriage. I love that. The simple truth is that the best marriages engage in a lot of touching, and sex is only one form of touching. Okay. What I love about that is it kind of takes the pressure off. And of course, you want to explain to your spouse who maybe has a more intense libido than you that, hey, tonight, sex is on the way, it's coming, I'm not sure when, but it's soon, but tonight I just want to hold you, I just want to smell you, I just want to kiss you, And just be open and communicative about where you are. Maintenance task #4, do something different to get out of a sexual stall. I'm not going to go into great detail, but I will put a link to my story about the night that I forced my husband to meet me in a bar where we pretended we did not know each other. And believe me, he was not in the mood, but I had a very low cut blouse on and a lot of legs showing, and he walked into that bar and he got on board, okay? Of course, he did name me Crystal, and he did make me a former porn star. But I will say that it was a really successful date, and we had a really lovely interlude after that. That was probably the best sex I've ever had. So you don't have to be that ambitious. It can be something much simpler than pretending not to know each other in a bar, but make an effort. And maybe just once a year, twice a year, make an effort. Marriage maintenance task. Oh, that's hard to say. Marriage maintenance altogether, the alliteration. I don't know. Anyway, have a sense of humor. Real life is not 50 Shades of Grey. Very few of us have enough square footage in our home to have a red room of pain. And if you go into a sex shop, you will discover that all of those floggers and toys cost millions of dollars. It's very expensive to be that creative, okay? So the bottom line is you have to be able to laugh sometimes about when your sex life is lame. And you have to be absolutely aware that what we see on TV and movies, that's just there for us to watch as an aphrodisiac for our own married sex lives, but it is absolutely not real or sustainable in any way. So never compare the inside of your marital sex life with the outside of someone else's marital sex life or extramarital sex life. Everybody out there is having some pretty bad sex some of the time. And hopefully everybody out there is having some pinnacle experiences too. But either way, enjoy, laugh, be friendly, don't take it too seriously. Okay, I hope some of these tasks will be helpful to you, and I look forward to seeing you next week in the next video. Bye-bye.